Kingston Selvaraj, CEO and co-founder from PalC Networks. Please welcome to the stage. Thank you, Kingston.
Thanks, Diego. Yeah, thanks everyone actually. Probably I'll get into the presentation directly because we are running out of time. So basically what I'm going to talk today is a little bit off the topic because we have been hearing from vendors and we have been hearing from operators about the disaggregation. So I just wanted a little bit touch base about what is the role of a system integrator and why it is very, very important for a system integrator to make the disaggregated networking ecosystem to be successful. Yeah, so just basically a quick recap and from where basically the disaggregation starts and where it is going towards right now. So it started from the closed system and it's moved to a device disaggregation wherein you are just basically disaggregating your software and the hardware, and then it moves more towards a cloudification wherein basically the network functions are being virtualized and deployed in a COTS-based system, and the management of all these network functions. So it is not only about disaggregating the hardware and software. Now inside the software you have multiple components which are coming in. All these functions can come from different vendors. How are you going to manage all these components or functions, network functions, and how to basically integrate together, orchestrate together, integrating with your CI/CD systems and release management. All those complexities comes on the cloudification side. And then we are moving towards an intent-based network wherein you have a feedback loop, right? So when something goes wrong, how that basically the feedback loop is re-engineering your network as it is. So we are not into that intent-based network, but definitely we are into the cloudification path, right? So the disaggregated system, what we are talking about is predominantly what we are seeing in the current deployments right now. The hardware and the software disaggregation with Sonic or any commercial vendor offerings of white box NOSes with the white box ODMs. And cloudification is becoming reality in the Open RAN side, right? So we are in between the path between the disaggregated system and the cloudifications, okay? So I'm just trying to basically take the TIP solution as an example, how this really works. And so basically, if you see a typical Open RAN ecosystem, you have CU, you have DU, you have the RU units, and you have the RAN side of the equation, and the core side of the equation, transport equations. All the things put together, you are dealing with a very massive disaggregation of not only the hardware and the software, the complete functions you are dealt with. And there are multiple levels of orchestration. There might be a transport orchestration mechanisms. There might be an Open RAN orchestration, the core function orchestration. So multiple hierarchy level of orchestration also we are dealing with, right? So it's not about basically. I just wanted to take the quote from Patrick Filkins. So the Open RAN success is not about anything else. It's about the integration. So how are we going to effectively do the integration of all these components which is going to be inside the Open RAN ecosystem, right? So the next one is basically the OOPT, the OLS ecosystem. This is basically most of you might be familiar with this ecosystem right now, and these are some of the questions which has been asked in the one of the initial Open Optical conferences, right? So if you really see some of these questions, most of these questions are related to the system integration, because now the operators are not only dealing with a single vendor, you have to deal with ODMs, and you have to deal with the NOS vendor, you have to deal with the suppliers, and you may need to deal with even the ASIC vendors. So there are too many players over there. How these integration of all these components is going to happen, right? So I'm talking about the box level integration itself. So inside a single box, we are talking about 4 different players there. Now coming to the complete ecosystem as a whole, you might be having a controller coming from ONOS or vendor-specific controllers. How are you going to integrate the interface between the controllers with the OLS system? So all these things, right, is basically a challenge, right? So what is happening right now is everybody is defining the open interfaces, open standards, and how 2 boxes has to talk to each other, right? Well and good, but when you put all the things together, if there is some problem occurs, how are you going to isolate the problem? Who is going to support? People always talk about the single neck to choke, right? So that's one of the major challenge which is happening in the disaggregated ecosystem, right? So just I wanted to cover some of the challenges from the operator side first, and then I'll be talking about the challenges from the vendor side, and basically why a system integrator or a solution integrator, I will be talking about it, why it is very, very important, and what is the kind of expectation coming from a solution integration space, right? So the challenges from the operator, now it is going to be, it's more like a multi-vendor complex solutions. It's no longer going to be a single vendor solution wherein you are just basically buying different components or different boxes from a single vendor and put together. It's going to be a completely multi-vendor solutions. And automation and zero-touch network is very, very important right now because of the kind of complexity and the orchestrations that the operator is going to deal with. And integration with the existing legacy systems, it's not going to be like you are just going to take greenfield systems, right? A disaggregation has to work along with a traditional network ecosystem. How that interoperability, control, and how that really works together, right? That's one of the challenge. And the final things, probably this is one of the area probably operator will be focusing more towards in the near future, the security and the support concerns, right? Because disaggregation always associated with the openness. So you have multiple open software available in the market, or open NASes and open solutions available in the market. Probably the security is going to be one of the major concern, and commercial grade support is also is one of the major concern. So right now, what we are seeing is basically we are just seeing the operators picking up. They're trying to deploy in a small scale. So when you go for a major scale, right, the massive scale, then support is going to be one of the major concern the operator is going to deal with, right? So now, again, I just wanted to take Patrick Wilkins' things. So what is a challenge? Previously, what happens, operator can ask the vendors to basically deploy their network on the initial time, and there might be specialized system integrators or system maintenance team which can just take care of the entire maintenance of the network, right? So now, operator might not be able to have that choice because it comes from a different vendors. So you cannot go and ask. I think in yesterday's one of the session, the ADVA was raising this concern. Most of the time, what happens is basically the operators are coming and they are asking us to basically deploy that. The Telecom Infra project or the TIP group definitely need to look into it, because it's not only about vendors and operators. The bridge between these two is really, really important. We need to somehow define how to handle that from the ecosystem itself. That's one of the point came in yesterday. I completely agree that, because there is no I would say that guidelines for that. Probably TIP should look into that aspect as well. So coming to the vendors challenges, right? So now we are talking about a multi-vendor deployment system. So basically a vendor has to basically put their box in a multi-vendor deployment and see that how it's really going to work, right? So it's no longer you are going to test in an isolation and you're going to put it. When we are talking about any TIP or ONF solutions, you have to have the validation offerings on the multi-vendor deployment. The second one is cost-effective support. Due to the disaggregation, we are seeing a lot of software vendors coming into the network ecosystem. What happens was they might not have the right ecosystem to provide a 24/7 support or a support which can provide 99.999 uptime, right? So that is one of the challenge for the vendors. Though they are coming up with a unique solution, innovative solutions, how to basically provide the support which the industry or the operator really asks for. And third is basically the collaboration between the software and the hardware vendors. So both these things are going in parallel. There are a lot of software vendors coming in. There are a lot of hardware vendors coming in right now. So basically, they need to talk. Everybody has to talk to each other. Okay, what kind of platform it is coming in? What kind of ASIC is sitting inside the platform? So do we need to do something on top of it? So there are a lot of interactions are required between the ODMs as well as the software vendors, right? Finally, the project group collaboration. This is also really important, because the vendor has to get a badging or has to get a kind of validation from the groups like TIP and ONF, right? So what happens, this we will be seeing, we are seeing in the ONF community, especially every release of the ONF projects, a vendor has to come in, he has to put his box and make sure that it is getting qualified, right? So the same problem may be happening even for the tip, and basically the vendor may need to qualify their boxes for the new versions of the test cases or the test plans, right? So that is also is going to be a major challenge, because they have to keep doing the testing, keep evaluating their hardware and the software releases against a particular solutions coming from the open source communities, right? So finally, before going into the actual things, right? So SIs then and now. So what we are talking about. So previously, if you see, you need a different version of the system integrators. Probably I'll term that as a solution integrator right now. You need. It's no longer going to be a system integrator, because this is where actually the transition of the system integration to solution integration is really important, right? Because we are no longer talking about boxes which are getting connected, which are getting configured, and it is working now. So we are talking about something very big. So the traditional system integrators have to move from the hardware-centric to the software-centric thing. Typically, vendor can act as a system integrators. Now that's not going to be the case. You need to have a specialized solution providers as system integrators, and typically it is a single or limited vendor deployments. Now it's going to be a multi-vendor collaborated solution. So the system integrator should have the capability to work with hardware and the software vendors, put the things together and provide the solutions. And it's not going to be a monolithic software system. You need to have a cloud-native system with orchestration as well. So the system integrators should have the capability of software development pieces also. It's not like just basically putting the things together, right? So I'm just taking one particular example from the OOPT OLS system. What are all the different players involved in this, and what kind of collaboration chaos we are talking about, right? So basically, we have the ODM vendors, we have the NAS vendors, we have the resellers, operators, project group communities, merchant silicons. So all these people have to talk to each other. All these people need support of the entire group to basically provide a complete solution, right? So I'm just taking a scenario wherein a software vendor is coming in, or a ODM vendor is coming in. A new company is coming in, they are just trying to basically come up with a DCSG or Cassini-based system. They have to talk to all of them. Then only they will be able to successful. Otherwise, it's very difficult for them to establish themselves inside the market, right? So this connectivity, this chaos is basically may create a lot of problem in the near future, because the connectivity may increase not only from the vendor, every releases it may go, every version of the hardware it may go. This is going to be a challenge, right? So what we offer. So far, I haven't talked about PalC at all. I just basically wanted to touch base PalC, what we are doing here, right? So this is exactly what we are trying to do. We are trying to connect all the ecosystem in the current ecosystem. We connect all the people, and we just planning to provide, or we are providing the solution integration as a piece together, right? So for the NAS vendors, we are providing basically support, or for ODM vendors, we are providing the support. The resellers, we are providing, again, 24/7 support. And then operators to put together, network together, validation of their solutions, not only from individual pieces, a complete validation pieces, we are providing support. And we are working very closely with the project group communities like ONF and TIP, and we understand the things, we contribute to the test plans, we adopt the test plans, help people in executing the test plans and get the validations. And ONF, we have already done these exercises in the past. So any vendors or any service providers who are getting into this, any of the support, definitely we can reach us, we can help you guys, right? I have just 1 minute time. I'll just basically cover 2 more slides and I'll finish it. So this is a much bigger picture. So what we are talking about, the chaos, right? I was talking about the chaos of only one small OLS system. But where the industry is going towards, basically, you are having an open access to edge, to core, to enterprises. All these things are the open source, the projects which are running in right now. So when you put everything together, it's going to be a massive chaos. So we need to have a system integrator who is really capable of understanding the complexity and make the thing simple, provide the aggregation, segregation, and provide the solution. Just 50 seconds I have. So what we offer right now, right? So we have 3 different offerings actually. One is the professional services. We have a capability to develop softwares, especially the protocol development. So that gives us a capability of understanding the software and how the network works, how the testing has to be done. So we are doing the professional services, and we have a great experience in working with multiple commercial and open source offerings. We are offering the solution engineering integrations, so any kind of, probably the tip solutions, some of the tip solutions we are working, ONF solutions we are working very closely, putting the things together. And finally, the solution engineering support. So we are providing a commercial grade support for some of the open source offerings in the industry, like Sonic or DentoOS or some of these things, right? We already have a 24/7 support, right? So this is what actually we offer. Let us know actually if you guys, I'm pretty sure that most of you really agree or you are in the verge of seeing these problems, and definitely we can help you guys in solving some of these problems together. Thank you. I think that's it.